Hello everyone, my name is Matthew. Today we will focus on some common mistakes, both general and specific, that Vietnamese candidates make in the IELTS exam. I will outline what they are and give some tips and ideas on how to avoid them. So let's start by looking at some general mistakes. Number one, don't memorize your essays. This is a real terrible mistake to make because the examiners are trained to look for this and have firm instructions to disqualify such works on the spot. So memorizing essays isn't going to increase your band score, but having a good, organized essay with good ideas yourself will. Two, a very common mistake is to answer in more words than instructed in the reading and the listening modules. If the task says no more than 3 words, answering in 4 or more words will definitely cost you marks. So what can you do to avoid this? Simple. Read all the instructions very carefully in the reading and listening modules. And make sure you transfer your answers onto the answer sheet correctly as well. So in a rush, some candidates transfer their answers incorrectly and mistakes can happen easily. For example, if the answer for question 24 is written in the box of question 25, you get 0 marks for it, plain and simple. All you need to do is just be extra careful when you transfer your answers onto the answer sheet. Number 4, many candidates don't make their task 1 and task 2 response in the writing module long enough, and as a result, candidates lose marks from task completion for that piece of writing. A mistake like this can mean the difference between a 5.5 and a 6.0 writing band score. It's suggested that you try to write a lot more than the minimum amount. For example, for a task 2 essay with a minimum of 250 words, try to write at least 270 or 280 words. If you write a lot, it doesn't matter, as long as all the information is on topic and relevant. 5, not writing in clear paragraphs. Clearly space each of your paragraphs in writing with a space left blank between each one. Each paragraph needs clear structure with a topic sentence at the beginning and at least 2 supporting ideas or examples that are connected directly to your topic sentence. If you don't have clear paragraphing, you will lose marks. Following these tips and ideas to avoid these general mistakes might get you to that higher band score that you're looking for. So now let's start by looking at all the specific mistakes that in particular Vietnamese candidates make. 1, using nowadays, these days, or in modern life to begin an essay. So an introductory word such as these to begin an essay is not really necessary, and sentences will read perfectly well without these words. It can be safely assumed that you're talking about the present or the present time unless you say differently. 2, using the phrase with a click of a mouse. So this phrase is used in Vietnamese and not in English, so don't try to translate phrases like this directly. Number 3, using more and more. So this phrase is not really academic and is used more frequently in Vietnamese. Try using much more or increasingly more instead. 4, using moreover. This word is overused by Vietnamese IELTS candidates. So many native English speakers will consider the word to be very formal or even old-fashioned. Furthermore, and in addition, may be better choices. Or simply connect 2 simple sentences together with an and. So the word and. Why not? Although signal language can be useful, you should not begin every sentence with one of them. Only use them occasionally or where necessary, or you may lose marks if you overuse them. 5, using the word pupil. This term is disappearing and now the word students is more commonly used for all those people in all the different levels of education, regardless of their age. Number 6, using much and many incorrectly. So these words are only used in questions and negative clauses. In positive clauses, they are used with so, as, or to. For example, the streets are full of so many people. In other positive clauses, however, expressions like a lot of, lots of are preferred. Though in the IELTS exam, try using some more academic expressions, such as a great or a large amount of, or a number of. Moving on to number 7, starting every answer with in my opinion or I believe. These phrases aren't necessarily wrong, however, but most native speakers wouldn't rely on them too much at all, really, and instead may use or they begin a sentence with certainly, I agree, or of course, if they are agreeing with a question, or they might just state their opinion directly without any introductory phrase. 8. Saying there are 4 seasons in a year, for example, spring, summer, autumn, and winter. So avoid doing this in English, please, as everyone knows what the 4 seasons are. It's like saying there are 7 days in the week, for example, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, etc. So it's unnecessary. Number 9, using convenient and comfortable too much. These words are used more frequently in Vietnamese rather than in English. There are a lot of synonyms for both these words, so try to expand your vocabulary and express yourself in other various ways. 10, using by dint. So what is this? Seriously, this is an archaic word or expression meaning it is no longer used in English, so don't use it. You need to know which other words are archaic or old-fashioned and avoid using them, okay? 11, using the plural versions of words such as millions, advices, and evidences. These nouns aren't countable except for millions when it's used without a number. For example, millions of people is correct while millions dollars is incorrect. Number 12, using chum or dot at the end of a sentence. So don't do this, please. It's not academic and seems lazy when used in English. Instead, write what you really need to say exactly, or if you have a list of things to say, then just choose a single word or a phrase to summarize exactly what you want to say. Now let's move on to number 13, using relax after a hard-working day. Again, this phrase is commonly used in Vietnamese and not in English. Instead, just say relax or come home and relax. 14, using idioms. Native speakers rarely use them, so why should you? Instead, use collocations in your writing and speaking. Number 15, using my favorite. For example, on the weekend, I enjoy my favorite. This is incorrect, and you need to have a noun after favorite, such as food, activities, movies, etc. 16, using cooker for a person. A cooker is a machine you cook with and not a person. A person who cooks is called a cook, and a professional cook is called a chef. 17, using most of people. It should be most people or most of the people in or at. And finally, 18, using day by day. This isn't really academic, and instead try to use phrases such as increasingly more or more often. Now, why not set yourself apart and avoid some general and specific mistakes like these that so many other candidates make? Good luck and all the best to you in the real IELTS exam.